So
Hello there, Tess. How are you?
I'm doing great, Deb. Thanks for having me here today.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
excited.
so happy to have you here to deliver your message of magical hope to inspire others with your story. So, how did it all begin?
It all started when Addison was about 1, and I noticed that in playing with other babies his age, his he wasn't the same.
Hmm.
And at first I'm like, oh, maybe he's just a boy, and because he's a boy, it's okay. But then I noticed how in large crowds he just would react a little differently and, just very clingy and such. So we brought it up to our pediatrician and he was just like, well, is he saying 52-word phrases? I'm like, no. He says mama and dada. Isn't that what a 1.5-year-old says? Then it just started from there. All these tests, these evaluations, and this appointment, that appointment, who to talk to, who not to talk to, um,
And how were
and
you
all the
feeling
questions
at
started.
this time?
It was nerve-wracking because we were newlyweds, new parents, and didn't know anyone who was in a similar boat. So what we ended up doing was, once we finally got information, when the tests were and evaluations were done, he ended up being classified as on a autistic spectrum. He was
Hmm.
diagnosed with apraxia of speech. And at first, like, what's going to happen to my child?
Mm,
What if I'm gone? What if my husband's gone? What
right.
will happen to him? How will he speak for himself? But then I just got a grip, Deb, and I told those voices to just shut up. And
Oh,
that's where my faith came in, and I
yes.
said, I need something bigger than just what I see. I need to hold on to something to get us through this because he's going to speak. He's going to live a full life.
So
And right then and there,
you had this belief system, and it was your faith that gave you the courage to persevere and continue. Is that correct?
absolutely. And that's what really was the foundation to keep us going. But
Mm,
there were times though where I'm just like the questions came. I'm human, right?
that's
I'm a
right.
concerned mother.
That's right.
Um, and
And fear of
sometimes
the
you just feel like
future.
it's just
That's
too
right.
much. Right. Right. And you're like, how are you going to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Um, how do you do this? And then you start to meet different people. You meet these therapists and these special ed teachers and who tells you what your son needs or your child needs and what's best for them. What kind of classroom to be in, what kind of pen to use when he writes. And it got overwhelming. And it just got to the point, again, I had to step away from it all and just be like, no, it's going to be fine. There has to be, something has to give, something's going to give. But
Let
what
me
we kept doing,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Deb. I'm sorry.
No, I
What we
just
kept
wanted
doing
to
was,
ask you, how did you bring your faith back to you every time you started to sway and you would get the anxiety? How were you able to do that?
you know what? I let it out by crying,
Mm.
or I go for a long drive, I go for a walk, and then I got myself together and I'm not afraid to ask for help. And I just reached out to people. I'm like, hey, I really need you to either just listen to me or just pray for me, pray for my son, you know, something, whatever you believe and however you believe, however you practice, however you can send me and my son and our family good energy. Can you
Yeah.
help me out with that? you know um, and then I start to just send updates. I start to write emails to people, who were participating in that, who were supporting us. Say, hey, here's where Addison is, and just giving his milestones and just start to celebrate the baby steps.
Oh,
you
that's
know
right. And
we,
how
we
did it
had to
affect
find ways.
him when you were celebrating him?
You know what? It's so cute because even till today he still looks for that acknowledgement and recognition because he's so conditioned to receive it, because
Mm.
he realizes now how hard he works. He works a little extra. But at the end of the day, it's just a beautiful thing because why not celebrate the big and small wins? And he loves it. But he's also aware of the flip side too. He's
Mhm.
aware when it doesn't work out, and he learned to cope. But he learned to cope because he saw our model. He saw how we handled things. We were always transparent with him from the beginning. We gave him enough information of what was going on for him to understand, for him to process, and what we felt he was comfortable with. And we found that it was very beneficial.
So you empowered him.
Yes.
So you empowered him by letting him know, this is what we expect of you. Let us know if your expectations, that what the expectations we have, are they realistic? So you worked as a team.
Right. Right.
Did you baby him?
And there were times we did, but there were times where I cried so hard where I was like, I can't baby him. Like, for example, we wanted him to choose his extracurricular activities. We're like, you have to do something other than school.
Yeah.
So we tried sports, we tried soccer, we tried basketball, we tried martial arts, we did Aikido, and some things he excelled in and some things he didn't. But we said to him, you need to learn these feelings. And we feel these feelings too. It's not just you. I think what was important was letting him know it wasn't just him, that he wasn't alone. And
Yeah.
that gave him the reassurance. It gave him that security blanket, like, okay, if I don't do well, if I fail, it's okay. I have my pillow here. But if I do well, we're going to celebrate and we could keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he knew you healed him with love, literally with love and faith. So
Yep.
how did he connect to his faith?
It's funny you asked that. Just very recently in the last year, um, my son is now 17. We actually did a family retreat, and he shared with us some feelings that he never shared with us before from his junior high experience. And he shared with us how he turned to his faith, to prayer. And it just, while it hurt to hear that he was going through what he was going through, we found joy, and we were just rejoicing because he followed our model and found peace with it.
Yeah.
He could have hurt himself, but he used the tools that we equipped him with and the model that we set for him, and ended up using it to share with other children, other young adults. Hey, I felt that way. These have been my challenges, but you know what? I turned to my faith, and I'm glad I did. Because what
Wow.
stopped him from hurting himself, he said, was he stopped, he prayed, and then he thought about how it would make my husband and I feel if he were to hurt himself.
Oh my goodness. So he really tapped into his own empathetic nature.
He connected with his own empathetic nature. And being autistic, finding that connection, emoting feelings and emotions, and just expression, that for us moved the mountain. And to hear that from him just brought us great joy. And it said to us that all the tears, all the hard work, all the shuffling to the therapists, and getting on our knees and praying was worth it,
Oh,
because it
absolutely.
came out from him.
Oh, yes, because he
Yeah.
showed you that he learned, he watched, he modeled after what you were doing, and he was able to express his feelings to you, but you also said that he was able to tell others that it's okay to feel.
Right.
Tell me about that. Wow.
It was interesting because he was asked to share about himself, about how he finds God every day in his life and how he practices his faith. And that's how it came about. Like, he thought about it and he put his thoughts together, and he shared it in a forum and was able to just declare and say, hey, I went through a hardship. I know I'm different, but I'm here. I got through it, and so can you.
Oh, oh my goodness. You have a miracle. You have a miracle that you created and he created. You all partnered, your whole family partnered by
Right.
having him believe in himself, by always
Right.
supporting him and telling him, you can do it, you can do it.
Right.
Tess, you never gave up. And
And
because
I
you
think that
didn't give
is the
up, he
key.
didn't give up.
Right. And one of the things too that I thought, and I still tell him till this day, that my husband and I keep emphasizing, you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to stand out.
Oh, I
Don't
love
fight that.
that. Can you please state that again, really loud and slowly? It's
Yeah.
powerful. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're meant to stand out. You are not meant to fit in.
Oh,
Yeah.
how wonderful is this? And he embraced that
Did.
within his soul. He embraced that.
Right.
Oh, What do you think his purpose is?
I think his purpose in this world is just to bring the sense of calm to others. That's part of his whole being. You know, could be frazzled and anxious and just going bananas, and he's just so good at. He'll just tap you, Mom, it's okay. And I look at him
Unbelievable.
like, yeah, it is okay because look at you.
But he wasn't always that way. When he was small,
Oh
if he
no,
had, temper tantrums or anxiety or just uncontrollable emotions or frustration, and for a while there he was nonverbal. So how did he be able to come to that place of truly a miracle?
yeah, absolutely. You know what? I'm glad that we did every single IEP or whatever meeting, blah 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 in school, and then we got supplemental help. Like we went through. I became best friends with people with my husband's insurance company in mind. Just like I'm like, what's out there? Even if we don't need
Absolutely.
it and we got it, we qualify. Give it to me. Let me know, and I'll find out where to go. I'll make a way to get there. Yeah, were there times where I had to adjust my schedule, work schedule, and make sure that he got to see this particular therapist to get the help? Absolutely. I'm going to do that. And they all equipped us. And he found on his own, right, what worked for him and what didn't work for him. He
Hmm.
was able to figure out, well, if I try this, does this work or not? And he's he's daring. He's not afraid. And and I'm proud of him for that. He learned how to work with rejection.
Yes.
Um, he learned to
Yes, that's
work
a big
with,
one. How does he
oh
deal with
yeah,
rejection?
uh, junior high was tough for him. Seventh and eighth grade was very awkward and uncomfortable for him. And he took those experiences. When he started high school, he started fresh. So he went to a high school where not many people knew him and he didn't know many other students. Went out of his comfort zone, joined the cross country team, and then just took everything and started over.
Hmm.
And now he's a senior. He's found a core group of friends
Oh, how
in
wonderful.
different pockets of school, not just the same group,
Hmm.
and took Mandarin Chinese, and it's his language, like nonverbal to Mandarin Chinese, and just
Now
persevered.
that's a miracle in itself. I mean, that's mind
Right?
blowing.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's so incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
You must be so happy that he's so comfortable in his own skin now, that he's accepted
It,
himself. You move me to tears. I'm so excited for you. I don't know this guy, but I just feel that your son is a powerhouse, and he's here to serve others by just showing people that with faith and grace and compassion that you
mhm,
can move mountains. Tess, you
mhm.
never gave up hope. What's
No.
the message that you want to give other parents today?
My message to the other parents today is keep loving your child. You're allowed to give up and feel that way. You're allowed to say, I'm done, I'm tired. But don't let that sit for too long. And if you didn't do that, if you didn't feel that way, then I'm worried. And that's why it's healthy to let it out. But it doesn't mean you have to hold on to it. You know, go out there, be curious for your child, be receptive for your child, and talk to others. I don't know what I would would have done without so many people that have come into my life and the timing that they've come into my life by just being open.
Mm,
I guess the biggest part of it all is just accept and embrace how unique and wonderful your child is and see where they take you because you're not taking them anywhere. We're equipping them.
that's
They're
right.
taking us for a wonderful ride.
That's right. So
Mhm.
here's my other question for you. Thank you for that. Parents really
Mhm.
needed to hear that, especially the ones that are just beginning this journey and they're in the midst of this COVID and they're homeschooling and they're really feeling their own feelings of desperation and frustration. And you offered a beautiful message of hope. My question to you is, how have you transformed from being a mom with a child with special needs?
it opened up my heart in so many ways that I didn't think was possible. And I found untapped patience, understanding that I'm so happy to have. And I wouldn't have had it if it wasn't for my son Addison. I think I found a sense of compassion and understanding in my own heart too, um, for others, for other parents going through it, and for other children who have their challenges and are taking baby steps to get to where they like to be and will be. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
um, I wouldn't change it for anything, Deb. I would not, because I feel that it
That's
some
amazing,
people
Tess. That
and you
you
know what?
wouldn't change anything. Wow, that's,
I wouldn't.
yeah.
You know why? Because there were times where it felt like a nightmare.
Hmm.
In true honesty, it really did.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
why us? Why me? Why him?
Oh, yeah.
But now it's my love story. It's my personal love story with my son and the fruit of our labor and love for him.
Mm,
And I feel like it's God telling me you can do anything
anything.
if you put your mind to it.
That's right.
And because you can, your son is.
That's
And that's
right.
why it's my love story.
Oh, how
That's why I feel it
beautiful.
changed me this way.
You realized that you were entitled to a miracle. It's
Mm,
everybody's birthright.
right.
Everyone is
Mhm.
entitled to a miracle. You just have to believe. So it
I
was
agree.
your faith in God and your trust that guided you through this journey. It wasn't easy, and no boulder is when we have to push it up the mountain and climb to the top.
Right.
But you made it to the top, and you're just beginning a brand new journey of wonderful possibilities. Oh, Tess, how wonderful. Thank you so much. And God
Thank
bless
you,
you and
Deb.
everybody else. God
I
bless
wish you all the
everybody.
best for your endeavors with this, Deb. I know that you bring so much joy to others, and this is just going to bring multiply even more. And I'm so happy to witness it. And thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, Tess, thank you. And if there's any other parent there with a beautiful, inspirational story, a magical message of hope, you know how to reach me. Just type in my name.com and I'll be very happy to connect with you. And let's make this a wonderful message that just inspires as many people as we can.
Yes,
With God and love, we can really change ourselves and create that domino effect,
agreed.
one person at a time. Thanks again. Bye bye.
Thank you, Deb.
I think I stopped the video.